Hey guys, today we're talking about how to get legendaries and where the best legendary farm is with greater affixes, also known as ancestral legendaries in Diablo 4 Season 9. How often they drop, where to farm legendary gear most efficiently, what slows you down when killing mobs and teleporting, and what to do about it. How many people actually play Diablo 4 versus how many just bought it and never played. And who Blizzard is really designing the game for. New off here. Subscribe, let's get right to it. Everything we'll cover in this video is about getting legendary items with greater affixes. These are the stars on gear that turn regular 750 power legendaries to 800 power ancestral legendaries. Everything shown was done on World Tier 4. Whispers, tree caches, regular ones, gloves cache, 5 regular, 1 with GA. Another same cache gave 7 regular legendaries. Rings, 7 regular legendaries. Legendary Amulet Cache, 13 regular, 1 Ancestral Legendary with 2 GAs. Another same cache, 12 regular legendaries, 1 with 1 GA. Hope the numbers are clear. Seasonal Caches. I opened 5 of them. Result, 6 Ancestral items with GA, 5 uniques, and 10 regular legendaries. That's 1 Ancestral Legendary item, 2 regular legendaries, and 1 unique per seasonal cache. Where to get seasonal reputation? Anywhere with elites and or bosses. The most efficient sources are Uber bosses and Infernal Horde. Cuirassed Undercity. No tribute run, 6 legendaries. Tribute for Uber boss keys. Besides keys, 7 legendaries. Tribute of Harmony for runes. Same. Besides runes, 7 legendaries. Tribute for Obdusite. Besides Obdusite, also 7 legendaries. And the most valuable tribute is the one for guaranteed GA. The problem is, Radiant Tribute is very rare. After 170 hours this season, I've only gotten 11. This is how legendary farming with your desired stats works. You put the Radiant Tribute in the slot and choose an additional bonus. The first bonus gives you a guaranteed skill stat on armor. It looks like this. But there's no guarantee that the skill stat will get the greater affix. You're guaranteed 1 random stat with a GA, and this applies to armor. Armor means everything except weapons and jewelry. The second bonus works the same but is only for amulets. A few seasons ago I used this recipe to make this top tier amulet for a barbarian. The top 2 legendary bonuses are only available for tributes on legendary items with GA and for the mythic tribute. With the mythic tribute, any of these bonuses is just an addition and has nothing to do with mythic drop chance. Then you have a bunch of cheaper bonuses, read their descriptions yourself. They're available for any yellow tribute or higher. Blue bonuses accordingly become available starting with blue tributes. Uber bosses don't drop legendaries at all. Not regular, not ancestral. Legion isn't good either. It happens every 15 minutes and are mostly done for the 3 Whisper Tree favor points. World boss spawns every 3 hours and drops a little of everything. It's good to change up gameplay from time to time, but not for any kind of targeted farming. Now we come to the pit. Yeah. XP is the pit, loot is the pit. The ability to clear mobs fast without worrying about mist, loot, gold, and mats behind you, also the pit. Cuirassed also works, but you need tributes for it, and where do you get them? Again, the pit. As Blizzard promised, they raised the odds of getting good stuff with obols in Season 9. And where can you farm obols in bulk? The pit. Again. A quick side note explaining why it's like this, was like this, and will stay like this. The higher the pit, the higher the mob level, meaning better drop chances for everything, but also higher difficulty. Why don't other activities give even close to the same XP as the pit? Because T4 is a level 55 pit. As you can see, I can clear a level 79 pit barely noticing the mobs. So the only limits are movement speed and mob density. So I can farm Cuirassed, Horde, Nightmare Dungeons, and all content in the game at a sort of Torment 7 level, killing as fast as on T4. But most players can't, so for them it's only the pit. And no developer will ever make fast farming at the highest difficulty impossible for 70 to 80% of the player base. In Diablo 4, the game is designed so that a new player can reach max difficulty, which is T4 in 30 to 50 hours. You might say, whatever, I did this, I did that, and my friends cleared everything in a week. Good for you. But Steam stats say that 34% of people who bought the game never played it. Perfect customers. Ideal customers. 65% have never killed a world boss on any difficulty. So what's the bottom line? Only 0.5% spent any real time on the game. Let me show you with simple numbers. Bought the game. 1,000 people. Never even started playing. 340 people. Never killed a world boss or spent even an hour in Helltide total. 650 people. Maybe they're story lovers? Nope. They didn't finish the campaign either. Fully completed the game inside and out, 5 people. That's how it looks in plain terms. No one's going to build anything around 5 players out of 1,000. They're statistical noise. The game is tuned for the 650 give or take. That's who they've been casualizing the game for over the past year I've been playing. And yes, they'll keep putting 2/3 of the budget into marketing and ads because the share of people who bought the game and either didn't play at all or didn't even reach a world boss on any difficulty is 2/3 of the total buyers. These are people who came purely from the company's marketing spend. That's why for those who know what to do, where to go, and when, the game has nothing but the pit and never will. What's coming in the next couple of years, mark my words. Ladder, already announced. Then some kind of endless Paragon system after they squeeze everything they can from every other player type, meaning they'll squeeze money out of them, and only the smallest groups will remain, Paragon grinders and seasonal haters. No company can afford to ignore them. If you didn't get any of that, no worries. I'll put it simply. It'll be just like Diablo 3. That's roughly how I see it, skimming the surface as I do. That was a tiny side note. Now back to our pits. Right now pit levels 75 to 79 take around 100 seconds total, including loading in and out. That's a ton of loot every 90 seconds, plus around 7,000 obols per hour, which you can spend on any type of gear. This is the range for best legendary farm. And since it's the best way to get 500 plus legendaries per hour, it's also the best way to farm legendary aspects. I can't do without numbers, they don't lie. Stats do, but that's about how they're processed and presented. Note, if you want, you can look at greater affixes on gear. The odds of getting a high roll aspect on an ancestral item with 2 GAs are pretty high. Not 100%, but much better than with regular legendaries. Just gotta hit a meta aspect and boom, 10, 20, even 50 billion gold from Diablo.trade in your pocket. In case you forgot, aspect quality depends on legendary item quality, meaning GA. At first, you extract legendary aspects from regular legendaries, but soon you'll see the aspects don't improve anymore when salvaged. The rare improvements mostly come from salvaging ancestral items with 1 or more GAs. That doesn't mean you can only get max value aspects from ancestral items, just that the odds go up progressively with each additional GA. Also, if you're short on gold, don't salvage gambling gear, just sell it to any vendor. Why do I run pit 79 and not 89, for example? I can run higher in 3 to 4 minutes. But here's what happens with obols and drop rates per hour based on clear times. I measured myself on a specific build at different pit levels. Load time is 12 seconds in and 12 seconds back to town, so I add 30 seconds to each run for simplicity. All the data is in the table linked in the description. Up to pit 71, clear times are the same, meaning mobs in level 31 and 71 pits die just as fast. After that, clear times start to go up, around 5 seconds every 2 pit levels. The higher the pit, the more noticeable the increase. Each level gives more obols, XP, and gold. Every 10 levels adds more legendary drops from the boss. GA chance also rises with pit level. But how exactly it scales, I don't know. Is it a flat chance per item, regardless of level? Or does the GA drop chance per legendary item also increase with level? I don't know. Either way, it's academic. In practice, the raw numbers matter most. There's no point farming legendaries in pit 89 or higher, drops per hour plummet, but running super low levels is boring. So find a balance. In general, same advice as always. Run the level you can clear in under 2 minutes. Once you've got great gear, you'll feel out your own comfortable pace and style. Ping and platform matter too. From what I hear, things are slower on console, but I can't confirm. Never touched a console. But based on comments, Infinite Evade from the last video doesn't feel as smooth on console. I don't know anything about that. What I do know is this. Response time, and therefore pit run time, definitely depends on ping. Not the number shown on screen. That's an average over time. Not quite that. I mean the feeling when you get rubber banded half a screen or your jumps feel slower. That's not just a feeling. It's real. During primetime or weekends, gameplay feels different than during low server load hours. Right now on screen I feel like I'm moving underwater. Sork won't jump like usual, so some damage isn't registering either. You'll feel it in big mob packs too, or when you're playing in a party where the server is crunching more damage numbers. As I said earlier, 65% of players won't notice, can't measure it, and will never even know it exists. Another 20 to 25% will write it off as something temporary, unrelated to server cost saving. A tiny group of genius level players will say you're lying, it's fake, edited. Only a fraction of players know exactly how and when things should work. Even fewer notice that movement feels different across different levels of the same pit, regardless of mob density. That's just bad optimization in certain zones. Bottom line, if you have ping issues, don't pick a Sork with movement-based mechanics. With 120 ping or higher, you'll rage instead of enjoy. Either play early in the morning when the servers are empty, or spam Blizzard. But the second one won't help. Now about gambling. Available at Fidrek and Kiovashad. All gear types are available at different prices, from 25 to 100 obols each. Let's go with an average of 50. I'll pick offhands. With my obol cap of 2,500, that's 50 offhands at 50 obols each. Actually more than 60 with seasonal bonuses. First 2,500 obols gave 7 ancestral legendary offhands with 1 GA. Second batch gave 2 with GA. Third batch gave 8 legendary items with 1 GA. Fourth batch gave 2 offhands with 2 GAs. No point listing more. It's clear that what matters is obols per hour. And you get the most in the pit. Where do you get the most legendaries in the whole game? Also the pit. That's all. Good seeing you. Later. And what about info for the 65% of players who can't reach T4? What's the Diablo 4 legendary drop chance on T1 or lower? What are the odds of getting GA gear from gambling on T1? After looking at the Steam stats this way, I need to wrap my head around these numbers. I always knew no company in any game would pay for servers based on peak loads from a tiny hardcore group. No one's going to design gameplay around that group either. But it's one thing to know that in theory, and another to see what it looks like in real numbers. Now I need to learn to live with that. Didn't say anything about XP per hour because the numbers don't match. What the game shows in different places doesn't add up. Still figuring it out.